Hey everyone, back with another gameplay video today. We're playing Domain Zoo again. If you followed me for a while, you know that I really like this is my favorite archetype to play in Modern. And today we are going to try to test out some different things. So I'm working on updating my sideboard guide for this January, and kind of for as the meta changes, I like to change things around as things change. And so I've made a few changes to this list from previous lists you may have seen me running. So first off, I'm going to start with the mana base. So right now I'm playing 22 lands. That's just something I'm testing out. I did at one time, months ago. I used to play 22. As we know that the mana base requirements of this deck are like very high because of the domain. So sometimes having the extra fetch land can help you to hit the, get the right combination of lands that you need. But additionally, I've added Tishana's Tidebinder in the flex slots. I'm only running it as a 2 of. You could run it as a 3 of. I probably wouldn't run more than 3. But you're running a 3-drop, and it's just sometimes it's hard for in games where you just can't get to that third land. And then so I'm hoping that the Flooded Strand the extra fetch land will help to get there. I'm actually playing 2 extra fetch lands, but 1 extra land overall. And the way I'm playing 2 extra fetch lands is because I have cut one of the triomes. So I do think you should run at least 1 triome. I'm not certain if you need to run 2, though. The reason I stuck with Savai Triome is because red mana is just more important in this deck, so I wanted that extra source of red mana, as opposed to Zaggoth Triome, which has the blue mana, but we only have 6 blue spells, whereas we have a million red spells, so 16 red spells. So you're just going to want that double red more often. So that's why I'm sticking with the Savai Triome. So I've added 2, the combination of adding an extra land plus cutting the Triome allows me to fit these 2 Misty Rainforests. You can debate about what the best additional fetch is. I talked to some guys on the Zoo Discord, and it seems like it's Misty Rainforest. It's another thing that can get you untapped Black Source, can also get you your basic forest. The only thing notably it does miss is it can't get you your Triome. So I think with like anything with Domain Zoo, when you're tweaking the mana base, is you just want to make sure you sequence correctly. I don't think it'll be an issue. Like, yeah, in theory, I could end up with a hand with 2 Misty Rainforests and like Scion of Draco. But chances are pretty low it's going to happen. And if it does, then I'll play through it. I have seen some other lists. I know Andre Mangucci recently tried out some different things here. He cut both the triomes, but I think I do like the triome sometimes, because the reality is sometimes you just won't have a turn 1 play. So it's nice to have the option to fetch the triome, but I don't necessarily think you need 2 triomes, because then that second triome can end up being really clunky. Like you top deck it and you're like, it's basically a dead top deck. Like, yes, you can cycle it, but or it just makes for some awkward starts sometimes, where you you really want to play a non-tap land, and you have to play tap land because that's all you have with Savai Triome. So that's the idea. We're going to see how this plays out. We'll see if I miss Zaggoth Triome too much, but this is kind of tweaks to the mana base of what we're doing. The other card I talked about a little bit is Tishana's Tidebinder. I actually have tested this a bunch now, and I do like it a lot. It's the nice thing about it is it's very versatile, so it will hit. Basically it's never dead in a matchup. Almost every deck is using some kind of triggered activate abilities. The meta right now is very combo heavy, so that's why I've switched to Tishana's Tidebinder. It's a lot of unfair decks. It's a lot of Cascade, Amulet Titan, Yawgmoth, where Tidebinder is very strong, because you can, hit a Yawgmoth, you can hit a Grist, you can hit an Amulet, you can hit a Titan, you can hit all kinds of Cascade triggers. So it's very powerful, and I did used to run Preordain a lot, and I do like Preordain, but Preordain is better in a kind of slow, fair, grindy meta. So if it somehow was like Scam and Murktide were the top 2 decks, and there weren't these like fast combo decks trying to blow you out, then Preordain could be good again. But other than Scam, I'm still seeing the big decks as kind of Cascade, Amulet, Yawgmoth, and then like Murktide exists, but it's like kind of lower on the priority scale for me, along with a lot of other decks. So that's why I'm running 2 Tidebinder. The other nice thing about Tidebinder is it is a 3/2. So it kind of just fits in your game plan of like, yes, it's a 3-drop, which I don't love playing 3-drops in Zoo, but it is a 3/2 body, so you can, beat down your opponent with it, which kind of fits with the game plan A of the deck. Okay, moving over to the sideboard. So I have actually changed a few things. One thing you'll notice is that I am not playing any Graveyard Hate. So I used to play Rest in Peace. Sometimes I play Unlicensed Hearse, and I think right now, I just have decided to cut it. There were some other guys some people who have done well in recent events at like the Super Qualifier thing who cut Graveyard Hate entirely, and he was basically like, the only matchup where you bring it in really is Murktide. Against Living End, we have so many other ways to fight it. Now we have 2 extra ways to fight the Cascade trigger. You have permission, things like that. So you don't really need it against Living End. It's really only against Murktide, but even against Murktide, you can win without it. So Instead, in that place, I have 2 Bonecrusher Giants. So this is a card that's very good. And when I was talking about those like fair grindy matchups, I found it to be good also when you just need extra removal. So you're against Yawgmoth, you're against Merfolk, those fair matchups like Scam. It's really nice to have this like 2-for-1 option here with Bonecrusher Giant. I know it seems like an underpowered card because you're like, oh, 2 mana for 2 damage, but the fact that you can play it and then play as a 4/3 is actually I found it to be really relevant in some of those, like if you're playing against Jund, if you're playing against also will hit any ring deck, So if you're playing against coffers, playing against a variety of decks, this can be relevant to turn off their protection from ring. So I just found it to be versatile. Another card I've thought about playing is Fable of the Mirror Breaker in this slot, but I think 3 mana, it's a big difference, and it's also like not a removal spell, so it could be worth testing at some point, but right now I've liked Bonecrusher Giant so far. I do have 2 Reprieve. Again, that's just great in this kind of combo meta, against Cascade, against big mana decks, things like that. I have 2 Prismatic Ending. I like that as this kind of... I used to play Chain of the Rocks. I like Prismatic Ending better now because of Scam plays Molten Collapse, so Prismatic Ending can potentially be a blowout if you, say they Scam a Grief, Chain of the Rocks can be a blowout. If they Scam a Grief, and then you Chain to the Rocks it, and then they Molten Collapse the Chained, they're going to get their Grief back, get the ETB trigger again, like, it's just not a good exchange. And Prismatic Ending is also nice because it can come in some other matchups, again, very versatile. So I'm looking for versatility in the sideboard with a lot of these cards. This can come in against Amulet Titan, this can come against, like, any kind of creature deck, can come in against Jund, Scam, things like that, where you're like, you just want that versatile removal. I am down to 1 natural state. I used to run 2. This is kind of something I was playing around with. Again, we have there's extra answers to Amulet, and I'm not as worried about Hammer right now, and we have a lot of other answers, like Bonecrusher can be more removal against Hammer, things like that, so at least the creatures. So I do like that. But we're down to 1 natural state. We do still have 2 Tear Asunder. That's, again, I like this for the versatility. You can bring in those fair matchups. You can bring in as artifact enchantment hate. I use it all the time against like Yawgmoth. You can exile Yawgmoth, exile Grist for 4 mana, exile Murktide for 4 mana, exile Shield Druid. Like, there's so many things where this is relevant in the late game. And then I've also got Engineer Explosives, and the big change is, so Engineer Explosives is the sweeper. You could play Hidetsugu. I used to play Hidetsugu. Hidetsugu is very good. It's better in certain matchups like Hammer Time. It's better, and against any kind of like weird Asmo food decks. But other than that, I like the mana efficiency of Engineer Explosives because I'm mostly worried about Rhinos right now. And it's also nice to be able to bring it in against some bad matchups like Merfolk. You can set up to 2 or something like that, and you're not going to blow up all your 1-drops. So I think that's another nice thing of having this over Hidetsugu right now. If Hammer like took off or became really popular, then I'd probably go back to Hidetsugu. But in the current meta, I'm on E. And then the last change is Chalice of the Void. So as you know, that Chalice of the Void will break the Jegantha rule, which means when you're sideboarding in Chalice of the Void, you no longer can reveal Jegantha as your companion. This used to matter a lot in the Rhinos matchup. So the Rhinos matchup, when Fury was still illegal, was, in my experience, pretty grindy matchup. So what would happen is, we play our threats, they'd Fury them, but they go down cards to do that. And then, we maybe would like Fluster, Stub, or whatever their Cascade spells, and then the game would just go really long. So Jegantha was really relevant. Like, I casted Jegantha against Rhinos all the time. Nowadays, though, the matchup, it feels a lot different to me. So, the Rhinos is running Tidebinders, which are good against us because it kills Kavu, and also running Flame of Anor, which is really good against us because, if they can get 2 modes on Flame of Anor from Mutavault or from Tidebinder, then all of a sudden they can like kill a Scion of Draco and kill a Territorial Kavu, and then that's like very hard to come back from with 1 card doing that. So what I found is the Rhinos matchup, like especially on the draw, is just so like one-sided. Like basically on the play, I can win without almost no sideboard cards, right? Because we have main deck Stubborn Denial, like we have main deck Tidebinder. You have we bring in Reprieve, things like that, but on the play, the matchup feels really easy. Like you just play your 1-drops. They have a hard time. They can't 2-for-1 your 1-drops or your early creatures like they used to be able to. So they have to have Dead Gone in hand. Like if you play turn 1 Ragavan, or they have to waste a subtlety on it, and that means they're not subtletying your bigger threats. So things like that. So a lot of times I just run over my Rhinos opponent. Like I counter their first Rhinos, and that's just over because they're so low on life already. But on the draw, you can't really do that as well. And all that's building towards Chalice of the Void. So I was trying other things. I tried Dranth Magistrate. I usually played Flusterstorm, things like that. But I still just felt like it wasn't quite enough. Like, again, it was still on the draw. You're having a hard time holding up mana. Like, even with Fluster, you can't play a 2-drop and hold up blue mana. Sometimes they'll ice your blue mana, so you can't even do anything. And I was just like, man, this matchup just feels so bad. So I think at this point, I'm just using Chalice of the Void. We're going to see how this fares today if I go against Rhinos. I know it'll be good against Living End, but the fact that you can just stay on curve, you know, even on the draw, I can play a big 2-drop on turn 2, which is what this deck is trying to do, and I can play Chalice of the Void on, you know, the same turn. I think that's really powerful. Obviously, like, their deck, of course, has answers to it. They have, you know, they can Tidebinder the Chalice trigger, they can Flame of Nor the Chalice, things like that, but that also means that they're not Flame of Noring your big creatures or you're Tidebindering your Kavus, things like that. So that's a trade-off I'm willing to make. And yeah, so this is kind of the big innovation that I'm going to try out. And against Living End, like, you're not going to miss Jegantha ever. And against Rhinos, I think nowadays it's not really relevant. Like, usually most Rhinos matches I've played have been over by turn 4. Either I'm like stomping my opponent or my opponent is stomping me, and they're just very one-sided these days. So I think I'd rather have the Chalices. But we'll see how it fares today. Again, I'm trying some new stuff, so some of it might work, some of it might not work. Usually, I haven't changed the mana base in like months and months, but you know, me and some other people in the zoo Discord were just talking about, like, hey, do we really need 2 Triomes? You know, can we get an extra fetch land in? Will that help us? Like, do I really need, you know, like I said, the classic advice is, oh, we don't want to bring in Chalice because that breaks Jegantha, but do I need Jegantha against Rhinos? And, you know, that was a really long deck tech, but we're just going to play League today and test out these things, and hopefully we see some of the relevant matchups where we can, like, test some of these new cards, but, you know, you never really know what you're going to see in the League. And if you enjoy this kind of content, you can subscribe. I'll see you guys for round 1. Okay, let's get started with round 1 here. I did win the die roll, which is always nice. Let's see what we got. Okay, we got Breeding Pool plus Foothills. This hand is very good, so we're going to keep exactly what we like to see in an opening hand. We got some turn 1 threats. We've got more threats. We got some interaction, especially in the play. It's just so nice to be able to jam Ragavan on turn 1 and just, you know, go from there. Ignore what your opponent's doing. Well, not ignore it, but, you know, just apply that early pressure. That's exactly what this deck is trying to do on the play. Opponent's mulligan pretty low, so he might be Tron. Mulligan to 5, which I guess isn't that low. That could be a lot of different decks, but we'll see. And we're just going to go Sacred Foundry Ragavan here. That's the strongest 2-drop. We're on the play, so I don't need to worry about something like Bowmasters or Wrenn and 6. We're just going to jam. The Catacombs. This could be Yawgmoth with the Young Wolf, which would be like the worst thing to see. What kind of reminds of it? Watergrave? Mill, maybe? Oh, this deck. So he's basically on Dredge. I think what I'm inclined to do is, obviously bolting the Stitcher Supplier isn't amazing, but it's just going to wall my Ragavan forever. So I believe what I'm going to do is bolt the Stitcher Supplier and then play a Nacatl and then hold up Stub in case they go for a kind of turn 2. He's on Souls of the Lost. I'm just going to do this. It's not amazing, but otherwise my Ragavan is just going to trade with it, and I don't think that's the way to do it. Also, this is like, I guess I will just point out, this is not a matchup when you want to play when you don't have Graveyard Hate. This is not a meta deck. He's doing kind of like Dredge, Crabvine probably stuff. But we might be able to fight through it. We got a really good hand. And like if you go, he might go Otherworldly Gaze and I can stub it, and then you might just have nothing. This is the classic, you cut Graveyard Hate and then you played matchups like this. And you're like, yeah, Vengevine. Okay. We want to keep this treasure, I think. So yeah, just jamming our Nacatl, getting more pressure on board. And then hoping he goes for like a 2-mana, like a Flashback Gaze would be ideal. He does have I don't think he has a Dredger. No, he doesn't. Okay. He might not actually be playing any Dredgers. Like I said, he's more on the Crabvine plan than the Dredge plan. Let's see if he just goes land, Flashback Gaze. He doesn't have anything else going on. Okay, he'll play Crab. That's fine. The O2 Crab, right? Mill himself. So it is just Crabvine. He's got the Vengevine in the yard. It is indeed problematic. Do you have a second creature? He might have another Stitcher Supplier, and that would probably be the worst case for me. Oh, okay, there's an Archamoeba. So he did hit, so now he can get Vengevine back. So now we're going to have a really hard time. This is just not a deck where we're built to everything's coming back now. Yeah, and he has Stitcher Supplier. So this is like probably about the perfect start he could have. Turn 1 Stitcher Supplier, turn 2 Crab, Mill and Archamoeba, Vengevine, Stitcher Supplier again. He's going to get the Amalgam back, and this is like probably impossible for me to beat at this point. It's turn 2, and he's just kind of got the nuts. So I could try trade with his Vengevine. I mean, none of this is good. I don't have any good options. Like, trade with this Vengevine, he's just going to give it back. I could take this. Am I going to win racing him? I can't push any damage through. He's just going to block Stitcher Supplier with Ragavan. I guess we'll just attack with Nacatl next turn. Like, I can trade with Vengevine. I don't think I'm going to win that way, though. But I also don't know how I'm going to win at all now. I need a Binding, I guess, for Vengevine. That's our out. Oh, and he's had 2 prize mount. Yeah, this game's over. I don't know how I'm going to beat this without Graveyard Hate in the sideboard. This is a classic. Okay. What are our outs? I think we just play a bunch of blockers. I don't think I attack with Ragavan. I think I'll attack with Nacatl. He chumps here. Yeah, I don't attack at all. I don't know. I don't have not a great position. Should block here. Yeah. Am I gonna win this? Am I gonna win the race if I just go really wide? At least 7. I might be able to Tribal Flames. I think that's the only way. I have to basically ignore everything my opponent does and hope he doesn't flip more Narcomoebas or have anything else in his. He got 2 cards in hand. He can still flashback Gaze, but I think this is my best bet. I don't have enough Tramplers is the problem. He can just chomp. Yeah, flashback Gaze. Oh no, he didn't even flashback. He had his own Gaze in hand. That's pretty bad for me too. Yeah, I mean, he's doing the thing that you want to do. Again, this is going to be... We'll see. I don't think I have the tools to beat this deck with this start ever. Even with, like, the only way you would, it was, like, turn 2 Rest in Peace or something. But I don't have that main deck, and I don't have that sideboard. And he has another land. It's not blue source, so he can't flashback Gaze again. I just have a Souls of the Lost as his last card. Oh, another Stitcher Supplier, dude. He's killing me. This is like... I mean, maybe this isn't his nut start because he doesn't actually have Souls of the Lost, but, like, I don't know how I'm supposed to beat this ever. This thing just keeps... I need a... Even Scion wouldn't get me out of this. See what he attacks with. If I take 7, is there any world where I can kill him next turn? Is there any world where I win if I just block both these? What if I just block the Vengevine? So I would take 7, go to 4, swing back. He blocks, blocks, blocks. Don't do any damage. So I think I have to trade Nacatl for Vengevine, which feels very bad. And then just hope he has nothing left. Oh, never mind. That was a bad play. I didn't realize he could just bring back Gravecrawler. Yeah, that was a terrible block. Sorry. But he would have just brought back Gravecrawler anyway. What do I win? Block. Trade with everything. He brings it all back again. I don't know. I don't know what I do here. Just hope he bricks forever. I can trade with everything and then won't be doing that. I think we just have to block everything. Block in a way that he doesn't have lethal. But he'll still keep stuff back. Classic. Cut Graveyard Hate. This is my first matchup. This is kind of the problem with testing on just MTGO leagues. Notably, he can't get Vengevine back this turn. Also notably, I have nothing. Okay. So he is attacking with lethal. Do I have a way to... I want to go to 2 and give myself some kind of out. So 4, I have to block these 2 then. I guess I go to 5. I can't block this, so just recast this from his graveyard. Can't block though. All right, so this here, I need to block 1 more of these. We won't block Rise Mount. I don't know. How do I win this? Like I can trade with Vengevine again. You could have another creature in hand. Yeah. Again, I don't see an out here. You can just block Stitcher Supplier. I think I need to crack this to get 5 types. Maybe a Binding can save me. No, not even. That's even getting tough now. Replay Gravecrawler. Can't get Vengevine back because he doesn't have a second creature to play. Go to 3. Get our Savai Triome for 5 types. What does that change? I can attack with Brawler. This goes to the graveyard. I have 2 blockers. Block here, here. Okay. I can still be alive. I could attack with Ragavan. He trades here. Takes 5. I think I need the trample damage. We just have to hope he can't get a Vengevine back. I think that's our way forward. I mean, it's not a great situation, obviously, but I don't know. Maybe my opponent just has nothing, and nothing. Not gonna mill anything with a Stitcher Supplier. I attack with both, but I need a blocker back to not die. And I guess it's Ragavan. It is. I want to push the damage through. Okay, then we go Kavu and hope he can't get a Vengevine back this turn. 3 life. I will have to chump with Ragavan. Gaze again. Yeah, he's got another one with his graveyard. All right, well, this is gonna be really tough now. I need him to not be able to cast 2 creatures, though, to get Vengevine back before combat. But he can set up to get he can set up to get something else. So, we'll see. Or if he makes a mistake, it would also be great. But probably will not. Okay, so that's a problem. So he had the Bloodghast, and now it's probably over. Because now he can get Vengevine back, and then he can force, and then it's over, I think, yeah. But he needed to do exactly that. He needed to... Where was Bloodghast? I guess it was already in his graveyard. Maybe he just milled it. Yeah. Or he needed to hit a land or something. So the fact that he had another Gaze to flashback, I mean, I tried to play in my outs, but I think that's what did me in. It was actually close. I mean, he might not have realized how close it was because I have Primal Flames in hand, but now I can't stop because he's going to get an Archamoeba, and then he's going to get Vengevine back, right? I think he gets Vengevine back. He just have haste. That's the problem. I didn't factor in here. Okay, maybe it's still alive, unless he can get Vengevine. Oh, now I'm not. Should I read Vengevine? I probably should, huh? Okay, that's it. That does me in. So, yeah. So we got, I don't know, I thought we got pretty close. I mean, he had 3 Vengevines back, so now he didn't, but I think he needed to do that, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he had another Gravecrawler in here the whole time, but he needed to be able to cast another creature from hand to get Vengevine, and he was, like, close to not doing it. Okay, close game. I think if he had, I think if he hadn't been able to trade that Vengevine, I might have been able to win, because he might have made a bad attack, not realize that I had Tribal Flames exactly in hand. He's at 7 life. I have nothing for this matchup. I have literally nothing. So I could bring in Reprieve to try to reprieve his like cheap spells. That seems terrible. I can bring in Bonecrusher to try to like kill stuff. That also seems terrible. I can bring in these to trade. This will counter the Tidebinder or the Vengevine trigger. but will it still come into play? I guess it'll still come into play, but it'll lose haste. Maybe that's relevant. Not entirely sure, actually. We'll see how that plays out. But yeah, so I just gotta run it back. I don't have any answers for this matchup. But yeah, this is kind of like the downside of, again, like, I mean, it's fine. This is my opponent's obviously praying, like, whatever. He's got his archetype, and he's preying on decks that probably don't have graveyard hate, which is me. But also, I'm trying to test for, you know, big events like the Showcase Challenge, or like things where you're just not. Yes, you could encounter these decks in the early rounds, but it's just usually not likely because people will play meta decks generally. And like, it's not even clear if this archetype is better than just straight up dredge if you're trying to like do unfair stuff. I do have Tidebinder, but is this hand too slow? I don't have a 1-drop. I do a Brawler to push through damage. So like, I can try to hope, like, what would be a better hand would probably have a 1-drop in it. This at least has Tidebinder, but I think this might be too slow. I think we need a 1-drop here. Yeah, this is worse. Binding's actually relevant to hit the Vengevines. Maybe I should have just kept that hand. I don't know. This hand's like not good either, but I can potentially probably the bolts go. I can potentially stub a turn 1 gaze or something. I was thinking about sequencing here. Misty can't get everything, so I do want to go. I want to either get Savai Triome if he does nothing the whole turn, or I want to. Yeah, so I think we want to play this, right? Because we get Savai and then Breeding Pool. So alternatively, actually, well, it's not ideal. Alternatively, we can get Steam Vents and then Temple Garden if we have to stub something. I'm probably going to stub basically anything he does if I can. Might just be a crab, and then I can't do anything. Yeah, he could have gaze. I could not crack this, but then next turn he's probably just going to gaze anyway, and I'm going to play Kavu instead, so let's do it. Okay. Kavu can exile stuff from the graveyard, so that is also actually relevant, and I assume he doesn't just have like Fatal Push in hand, and then I probably just lose. I'm mysterious that he's just passing here. If he has Fatal Push, I'll just be sad. No Fatal Push, please. Uh-oh. Gaze? Fatal Push. Gaze, okay. So he'll flashback gaze, maybe. We might have to bolt Vengevine and then and then exile it with Kavu. Not a great line, not a winning line, but can allow us to hold up stub. Hope he just doesn't hit like good stuff. Souls of the Lost. Maybe I can kill that. Actually, never mind. It's already too big. Okay, sure. I'm just gonna yield to his turn. I have nothing. This means no Souls of the Lost. Let's see if he just goes second creature. He hasn't hit a Vengevine yet though. Citrus Supplier would probably be the most annoying. There's one in the graveyard. There's a Bloodghast. Okay, so we can exile. None of these are particularly good to exile. Bloodghast maybe. I think I care about Bloodghast. I think we're going to exile Gaze. We could also bolt the crab. I don't think that's correct, though. He's at 11, so we have 11 burn damage in hand. We just need to stop him from being able to, like, realize what's going on. Maybe easier or harder to do. Eventually, he'll chump with that. Also has no Vengevine in the graveyard yet. He gets his Bloodghast back, sure. Bloodghast can't block, right? I should have checked that. Correct. All right, go ahead. Cast a spell, please. The casting... All right, I guess I can do this. Okay, still doesn't have a Vengevine. Yep. Okay, so he has to chump with the crab here. Actually, am I going to miss lethal here? I can put him to 1. Can he kill me in 1 turn? So I can put him to 8. What are the chances he's actually going to block here with the crab? If he does, then I can put him to 8. He's probably not going. He's probably going to then block with the crab. If I bolt him right now, I think he's going to block with the crab. I could take away the option entirely and just bolt the crab, attack for 5, exile Gravecrawler, and then what's he going to do? Nothing. Better take away the option or not, because this is basically turning into Tribal Flames if I do it this way. So I think we have to. This is the only creature I can block. Yeah, we get a land, which means we have lethal this turn. So let's attack, exile something that will come back. Gravecrawler, can't block. That's 6. That 1. I don't think it'll make a difference. Do I want double blue or not, or double white? In case he has like Force Negation. I doubt it though. He's also at 1. All right. We got there with no graveyard hate. Well, Kavu is graveyard hate, but pretty good, I think. Obviously, our hand was good for this matchup, I guess. I don't know. Kavu good. I don't even think we played a 1-drop, but played a Kavu. Are any of these cards useful? Probably not. Probably none of them, so let's just run it back. Man, we were so close last game, I feel like. That game 1. I feel like we were close. I think my opponent was not realizing how close to dead he was. All right, I got to keep this. We got our Kavu. We got our bindings to deal with Vengevine. We have our Tribal Flames to burn the opponent out. This is what you want to see. Let's think sequencing here about what I want to use first. Do I want to keep the Strand in hand? I probably just want to go Flooded Strand, unless I hit a 1-drop here. Secret Keeper hits an Archimeaba. Okay, bunch of lands in Archimeaba, not the worst. Battle. Okay, interesting. Flooded Strand go. So we hit the double Tribal Flame, so we actually could burn him out this game, maybe. He takes a lot of damage from his own lands and stuff. Let's see if he like fetch shocks again or something. Attacks me for 1, sure. Yeah, let's see if he shocks. Yeah, he does not shock this time. 2 mana. The Souls of the Lost, maybe? Okay, 6-7. Okay. We probably just have to bind that, huh? I don't think I can afford to take... I mean, it's going to get much bigger, and he could just have lethal there. So I don't think I can afford to... Obviously, I would like to play Kavu here, but... Okay, perfect. So now we can double spell. So now we can play our... can get both basics. What's going to be more relevant? Probably basic planes is actually going to be relevant here. Maybe not, though. But do I think he's playing Force Negation? Probably not, right? Not in this matchup at all. You're wrong. All right, now I think we're in okay shape. We bind the Souls of the Lost. We play our Nacatl, and opponent only has 3 cards in hand. So we'll see. We're doing okay, I think. We have another binding for another threat, or Go Gaze. We have a binding for another Vengevine, which is probably what's important if he hits it. Okay, double gaze. That's actually not that scary. If he has a land for Bloodghast, or all his Vengevines in hand or something, I think he would discard one if they were. He has second Souls of the Lost, maybe. We're hanging on. He could play Secret Keeper here. Although he might want to save it until he has something to do. Oh wait, he can't play it because he has some blue. Okay. Shocks in a land. You love to see it. Plays Bloodghast that can't block. Plays something else. I don't know what he has that's 2 black. But I guess we'll find out. Oh, another Souls of the Lost. Okay. Or I have answers for that one too. Okay, let's think about sequencing here. I think I just want to bind, attack for 3, and then play a Kavu. I could also just bind, attack for 3, play a Tribal Flames. He's going to go to 6. But we don't have lethal the following turn unless he takes another damage from a land. He has 1 card in hand. I think we're just going to play our Kavu after we bind. Worst case, I can loot away something. Not relevant. I obviously don't want to have to fetch Shock here, but we have to. Both with all the red cards in hand, but also to play Kavu. So there's no way around it. At least Kavu can block a Vengevine if it comes to that. All right, I've answered my opponent's 2 threats with 2 Leyline Bindings, which is good, for sure. Flashback Gaze. If he takes any more damage from a land, then we are in pretty good shape, I think. Obviously, this deck can kill out of nowhere, but I've dealt with his 2 kind of big threats. Leyline Binding for the win. He doesn't have any Vengevines in the graveyard yet. Probably going to have to chump Kavu with Narcomoeba. I can loot away Ragavan if I don't get a land. Any land will do it, right? Play a land. Okay, crack it. Rise Amalgam. That's not going to be fast enough. He could Flashback Gaze again to try to get a, not sure. I think he's thinking about cracking that fetch or not. He's going to use another blue source, so he would have to fetch Shock to do it. I'm going to exile one of these Gazes. Oh, what does that change? I can bolt the Narcomoeba and then attack for lethal. I think I have lethal a few ways. Bolt the Narcomoeba, loot away the Ragavan. I think he's going to have a hard time killing that unless he has, like, even if he has removal spell for Kavu. Safer play would be to attack with, like, obviously I'm overthinking this line because I'm just trying to think if he I doubt he has a removal spell. He could, though. And if he does have a removal spell, he'll push one of these, push the Kavu, block the Nacatl, and I don't have lethal. But I want to attack no matter what with Kavu to loot away the Ragavan. If he doesn't have a removal spell, he blocks here. He goes to 8, and he's dead regardless of what I hit. So I think it's just safer to attack. And if he, like, cracks that fetch, he's in a lot of trouble. If he tries it, not try it. So we had good hands in this matchup. Okay, so he blocks as expected. Narcomoeba will die at 8. Oh yeah, we probably should have looted Ragavan there instead at this point in the game. Okay, yeah, we got there with all the burn spells, so pretty handy. No graveyard hate needed. We had good hands. Obviously, there are a lot of hands we had that aren't bad. All right, my opponent was just kind of salty. Said Unreal. Whatever, man. It was good. It was good draws. On the other hand, I don't know. I have 8 burn spells in my deck. I just happened to, in the 2 wins, I happened to get, like, the best creature and the best burn spells / interaction spells for his hand. Like, double binding into, like, Tribal Flames Bolt, and having Kavu to exile to make his life harder, having Stub. I still think I could have won that game 1, though. We were close. I think we were a lot closer than my opponent thought. Or I'm just, maximum copium, so I don't know. All right, I would like to play first, please. And it's amazing. All right, how do we want to sequence this? So this is an example of when, like, you might have an advantage, or you might say, oh man, I'm going to miss Zaggoth Triome, right? Because I could go Sacred Foundry, Ragavan turn 1, and then turn 2, my opponent plays a blocker, and then I'm like, oh man, I wish I could play the binding for 1. But I think in that case, I'll just play binding for 2 and not worry about it. Because I wouldn't have been able to play another 2-drop there anyway with that, like, sequencing, so, it's whatever. This doesn't get everything, but I think with Sacred Foundry, this will get everything else I would ever need. So, and this also doesn't get Sacred Foundry. So we'll go Foothill, Sacred Foundry. You could argue to have Steam Vents here, but we can always go... I want to get the white source now. Let's see, I could go red, blue, and then green, white. I'm trying to think of what I would hit that could make this relevant. Because no matter what, red, white, green, blue, red, blue, green, white. We already have 1 red. I think we're just going to go red, white. Although it's, like, very close. I guess it technically doesn't... It probably doesn't make much of a difference. Obviously, whenever you change the mana base, you have to think about it a lot. All right, he's on Living End, which is awesome because I have a turn 1 Ragavan. That's what you love to see. I also have a turn 2 Kavu, which is the other card you love to see in this matchup. Assume he's on Living End. He could be on Shadow. Don't grief away my Kavu. Okay, he's just on Living End. Okay, I'm feeling good about this. Ragavan on the play Kavu, exile things, and stub. Oh my god, we're just running hot today. We are running hot today. Okay, back with the Monkey King. Okay, we exile his Living End, help him out there. Help him out to exile his bad draws. And then we're just going to get Breeding Pool here and jam a Kavu. We'll see, I guess, if he has main deck Subtlety, because he will probably Subtlety this. At least I would. He does not. Okay, so far so good in this game. You love to try to get a win against Living End in game 1 because, you know, post-board, the matchup's going to improve. Now, we're not out of the woods yet. He can have a lot of things. We also can try to decide what we want to exile from his graveyard right now. He doesn't really have any bangers. Curators are, like, a little annoying. If we can hit a land here. Oh, another Kavu's almost better. Yeah, so I think we're just going to attack with everything. Exile. So Street Wraith can't be blocked, which can be relevant, but it's only a 3/4. These are 4/4 flyers, which are kind of annoying. So I think I'm going to exile the Curator. So we'll probably put like a Riverwinder in the graveyard, and it is what it is. I know, obviously, he's playing around certain stuff. Oh, he also wanted to make sure I didn't exile his basic island. Oh, actually, I could Tribal Flames him and force him to play a tap land. But I can't do both. I can't play Kavu too, but we're in such a dominating position that he could play Shardless if he has exactly. I think we're going to Tribal Flames him, and worst case is I get the force out of his hand. I put him to 2. Okay, so he could still fetch a basic and go to 1. He could grief me, take the stub. I think I'm going to Tribal Flames him to 2. You could argue that like maybe you don't do this, but I'm just thinking he's probably going to turn 3 grief me, take the stub, go off, and take one of my things, but then I still have a threat plus Leyline Binding. I actually am in okay shape. And I want to get the force out of his hand if he doesn't have grief. Cycles Riverwinder. Again, I'm expecting him to have that. Yep. So he exiles his Subtlety. So he must have just drawn the Subtlety where he just like didn't want to do it. So let's see if he has grief plus plus land plus Cascade Spell. Okay, he doesn't have anything. I don't know how he's planning on winning this. All right, cool. We got there. Game 1, Living End. Screw you, Graveyard Dicks. We drew really hot that game, so that helped us. Also, Ragavan on the play into Kavu, into having stub up is like the nut start. Okay, but this is exciting because we get to try out our new tech. So we have Reprieve. That's some same old tech. We don't want bindings for obvious reasons in this matchup. And we bring our chalices. I guess maybe we keep one binding in. I don't know. It's like so bad. I don't know what's better than binding though. Like any of these things I care about. No. Wait, what did I take something else out? Oh, we have 61 cards right now. Oh, so we have to take out one more thing. Okay. I got a Bolt, I guess. I don't want everything else in my deck, I feel like. Maybe on the draw, you take out a Scion, but I have Chalice now, so not as big of a concern. Just take out a Bolt. I think Tribal Flames is still good, as we saw there. Okay, this is like a fair hand. I don't think it's going to get there against a Living End on the draw. Okay, this hand is a... this is a do-nothing hand. It has... Oh, man. Do I risk it with a hand like this? I literally can't cast any threats. I only have 3 pieces of interaction. I think we risk it. I don't know. This is pretty bad. Like, I can't even... If I don't draw a land, then I can't even play Nacatl. But I have 1-2 answers, so I'm tempted to. We'll try keeping it. We have a draw step. We have an extra land in the deck. Go deck, go. Land. Okay, sweet. We look really smart now. Okay, I'm going to just jam. I'm going to get a Overgrown Tomb and jam a Nacatl, and then turn 2, we can play our Sacred Foundry and our Chalice. You could argue to jam Chalice now, then it will change what he's doing. He could grief me, but I have 2 answers. Like, not jamming Chalice now gives me... gives him another chance to draw a Force Negation, but he doesn't have that many cards in hand, so we're just going to jam our Nacatl now. And again, we're getting Overgrown Tomb because of the black source for Scion, and with like the other lands I have in hand. Nacatl go, and to jam Chalice now or not. If I jam Chalice now, force him to use... I kind of want to jam it next turn, mess up his sequencing because he probably has Foundation Breaker in his deck, but he's also more likely to have Force Negation than Foundation Breaker. I think we can wait a turn. Because remember, Foundation Breaker, he can't do it instant speed. But we are giving him a chance to dig for more answers. So it's kind of a trade-off. I just don't think he's going to grief me on turn 2. I could be wrong. But either way, he can't take both things. So Architect's doing the Living End thing. Now, even if we like fight over his Living End, we don't necessarily have a ton of pressure, but he has taken some damage from his lands. The Bolt's not super relevant here, but okay. Go Chalice, go. See what you got in your deck. We could also try to... Okay, that resolved right away. Okay. Now we're in pretty good shape. We'll probably just Bolt him end of turn. We have the mana to do it. I could try to hold up Reprieve to fight over this, to protect this Chalice, but I think I'd rather just, I don't know. We'll see if he has Foundation Breaker. I will Reprieve that, actually. I think. Yeah, I will. So if I Reprieve this, then it goes back to his hand. The next turn, he can do the same thing. If I don't Reprieve this, the problem is next turn, I can't play Scion and hold up Reprieve. But also, he can't cast Foundation Breaker next turn, and so I think we're okay. I'm thinking I'm going to Reprieve this. He also doesn't have Force, so now he can't go off next turn. He doesn't have enough mana. Also, we drew Ragavan. Just sweet. And we drew Stub. All right, I guess we'll just do it all, huh? He could have Subtlety in hand, so Steam Vents untapped. I'm trying to think, like, if we dash Ragavan, he could have Subtlety, and then I can't play Scion. I'd rather play Scion if he has Subtlety. Not quite dead, so he could also start hard casting things next turn, like a Curator. He's like really in trouble. He also hard cast Foundation Breaker. Be fine. Because he could destroy my Scion with Foundation Breaker, but I think we're in pretty good shape. He's doing stuff like that. He's at 9. Subtlety. Let's see if he goes hard cast Foundation Breaker here. Or what he's gonna do. That's a land. Plays Otawara. He probably didn't want to do. And we got, I think we're in pretty good shape. I think my sequencing was correct. Right, so he card casts Foundation Breaker. It's fine. Let's see if he destroys the Scion. Yeah, it'll tell me what kind of game plan he's going for here. Okay, going for that game plan, sure. Best of luck to you, sir. We're going to bolt him end of turn. We're going to dash Ragavan. He has to have exactly Subtlety in hand. If he has Force Negation, I guess we just attack him first. And then actually, we're not going to dash Ragavan anymore. We're just going to Tribal Flames him. Okay, so this went really well, I think, unless I'm just like missing something. Like he can have Force Negation and I can stub it and then he loses. I'm going to go to 1. That's the trump. Again, if he has Force Negation, I might not even fight over it because I want the stub for his actual living end. He could have 2 forces. Actually, no, he can't because he'd dump his whole hand for that. Okay, so I stub this. He could have 1 more Force Negation, and then he has to top deck exactly living end, or top deck a Cascade spell. If I don't do this, then he could have exactly, what do you pitch? Pitch Shardless. I'm trying to think of how I lose this, right? He could have if he has second Force, what's the issue? He'd have to have exactly Outburst plus second Force, or Outburst plus Dispute. I think this is fine, right? I mean, he could go Shardless. His last 2 cards in the hand could be Shardless plus Dispute. And let's see, like, what's the worst case? He resolves living end, I lose. If he has second Force and then has to top deck exactly a removal spell, I think it's a Cascade spell. On the other hand, is it higher chances that he has exactly Violent Outburst plus Dispute in his hand. I think that's pretty low probability that those are his last 2 cards. We give him 1 more draw step. No, I think we just fight over this. Okay, we got there. I don't know if that's the right line. Like, you could argue about like what I have to look at what the probabilities are that he has exactly Force plus blue card in hand, probably pretty low. And then the probabilities on top of that he exactly top decks an Outburst or a Shardless, also probably pretty low. So this was probably the right line. I was just overthinking it. Okay, we got there against 2 graveyard decks. Obviously, Chalice there, very good. Because it basically allowed us to cast Reprieve. So we could play Chalice. We had the 1-drop. We played Chalice, and then we held up Reprieve to protect the Chalice. And that's something that, like, there's no world you would ever do that. You could ever do that with something that wasn't free. So, like, that exact sequence, me on the draw. Like, imagine if that was against Rhinos. Obviously, the sequencing could be different, but, you know, they could have tried to go, like, turn 3, like, Flame of Anor or something like that. I'm probably not going to Reprieve with Flame of Anor, but the point is that, you know, that's pretty powerful stuff to be able to do that on the draw, which is usually, like, where you struggle most against Living End and against Rhinos. So, obviously, we've had some hot draws this league, but at the same time, I think in that game, I think our sideboard, I think the Chalices were really fucking good. All right, we're on the play again, which is the key to winning in Magic the Gathering. Okay, this hand is a keep. It's not amazing because of this this Overgrown Tomb is a little clunky, but that's okay. The other thing that's clunky is, we'll see. We're going to keep this. We're going to lead with Windswept Heath, pass. I really don't want to have to stub anything, and I probably won't, no matter what, but this gives me the out of drawing another fetch land. So I can go like Savai Triome here, and then potentially draw another fetch land, then have 5 types turn 2. If I just play the Overgrown Tomb first, then I would not be able to do that. Obviously, if I had a Nacatl or something to play, then I would play Overgrown Tomb here. Okay, looks like it might be Yoggers. This okay. Oh, wait. Might be something else. Ragavan. We're just going to play Kavu. Obviously, they can have like Molten Collapse or something. I'll live with it. I'm not going to play on the play. I'm not going to play so scared of Ragavan that I'm gonna Tribal Flames it right now. I could. Okay, we get our another thing. So we get green blue. They could have main deck Blood Moon, so it could be a reason to play this first. Play green black. Make him I'm gonna make him 5/5. I'm gonna force my opponent to have Molten Collapse. He kept a lot of cards, so you know, if you do, good on you. But I have a lot of other threats too, and I think I can take 1 hit from Ragavan, especially if he spends his turn removing it. His next turn, then we can go like Kavu plus stub up. Yeah, we can do that with this mana. So I just want to, with this hand, I just want to get my threats on board. Like I could obviously Tribal Flames or Ragavan, but and I'd be sick if this would the right lands for me. All right. My opponent does not have Scam Fury, notably in the current format. So that's exciting. Let's see if he has Molten Collapse, though, or Fatal Push. I guess he could play Scion, actually, to play around Fatal Push. That might have been smarter. Yeah, that was smarter. That was actually really bad. I forgot about Fatal Push. I was so focused on Molten Collapse. That was so bad on me. Because that just allowed him to do, like, so much. But that's okay. How bad could it be, right? I guess if he Thought Seizes me, nah, Thought Seize is fine, too. Not a second land. Nah, he's got to. Oh, so he's just Jund. Okay. Oh, he's like some old school Jund. Sure. Good luck. Good luck with the Dark Confidant, dude. Okay. So obviously we punted there a little bit. We should have just played Scion of Draco. I forgot about that. I forgot Fatal Push. That was a big oversight. So I would have forced him to. He wouldn't have been able to do anything that turn. That's okay though. We're gonna play our other Kavu, and then we're gonna hold up Stub for his like second rule spell. I want to give Kavu first strike trample with this board state because I think he's gonna start to try to chump with Saga tokens. Hope it's an expensive thing. Stomping ground, sure. Maybe he attacks with a Ragavan and then tries to bolt. That'd be sweet. Okay. 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 Getting a Bowmaster's vibe here. Actually, he probably just wants to make a construct. Slightly annoying because he can start gaining life. But I think I'm going to exile Fatal Push. I could try to find a fourth land. Could have Bowmasters, then he's not making a construct. I think I'll exile Fatal Push. He could be on like Delirium game plan. Yeah, I don't know if actually exiling. I think maybe I should try to find a fourth land so I can like play Nacatl too. Like he'll start gaining life with a Shadow Spear, but his Shadow Spear is going to be small. At 12. I don't have a binding yet. Yeah, maybe it was fine, actually. Yeah, I think I should have looted there. I think I should have maybe looted away the Ragavan and then try to find another land to play Nacatl. Put a lot more pressure on. He's already at 10. So obviously he can get Shadow Spear, but he's going to basically throw his construct into Scion. You could have Bowmaster, I guess. That would be the worst. Yeah, just take the damage from the construct token and just try to race him that way. I have Tribal Flames in hand. Also, his Dark Confidant could kill him. Yeah, that was it to be expected. So I don't think he doesn't have enough mana. Actually, maybe he does to go Bowmaster plus equip Shadow Spear. Table won't equip Shadow Spear to Ragavan. Okay, so he definitely does have Bowmaster. And I afford to eat a hit from Ragavan. 3. He'll go to 12. I think I can. Famous last words, huh? Tribal Flames. Okay, you have 2 types, 3 types. It grows Construct, which is kind of annoying. Okay, Goyf. Sure. So I can shrink Goyf by getting rid of the Saga or the Kavu. Yeah, we're very close to killing him. Okay. Now, are we even closer? Think for a second here. Do I have lethal? Right, so we dash Ragavan, attack with everything, Tribal Flames him. I think we have it. Because he can block, he's got bad blocks. I guess he could block here, double block here, the Kavu maybe, and then take the Ragavan hit, or block the Ragavan here. And then he's only not taking that much damage then. I can shrink the Goyf down to, if we get rid of an enchantment, I can get rid of enchantment. And I'm just trying to think if the dash Ragavan is worth it at all here. It does limit my options. Like it limits my outs of getting into a blocks. He might block here just to kill. Like block 6, put 6 in front of Kavu. Or sorry, yeah, it'll be putting 6 in front of Kavu. So he'll only take 4, and then he won't be dead. So I think dashing Ragavan's probably bad. I'm expecting him to double block here. This attack with Kavu bad because he can trade. He's going to take 4, so he'll only go to 8. Potentially, I can only push through 8 damage, right? Because he's got, this will have 3 toughness, this will have 3 toughness. Or we could just try to wait a turn. We'd also loot into another Tribal Flames, and then we'd have lethal. Is this Kavu attack bad? Right? Because we're just going to trade, we're not going to do any damage, do 4 to him, he's at 8. He's going to gain life, but my attacks are bad here, and I just don't do anything. I just play Nacatl, play Ragavan, hold up Stub. He could also just not block at all, but he's got a double block here, right? I guess no, it's first strike. It won't die. Never mind. I'm an idiot. He blocks here. I'm just trying to think if it's worth dashing Ragavan. I could flip a bolt and then it's bad. And I also could kill his Dark Confidant, which, but Ragavan has first strike. All right, we're going for it. We're going in. Shrink the Goyf or draw a discard. I think shrink the Goyf. It looks like if he's going to block like this, he's choosing death, right? Unless I did my math wrong. I did not do my math wrong. Okay, cool. We got there. All right. Sorry about the slow play. I just, wanted to think through my line. So we're going to Tribal Flames him. And he's dead. Our plan worked. Unless he has something else, secret hiding. Okay, cool. We're against like a Jund, old school Jund, really Dark Confidant. So that's exciting. This is a matchup where Bonecrusher is going to be good, and a matchup where probably Stub is going to be bad. It's also an Urza Saga deck, so I like Tear Asunder. Let's go Bonecrusher and let's go Prismatic Ending. I think I'm going to play to the board here, and I just don't want the Stubs. And I think he might be playing Bolt, so I think I might cut like 2 Brawlers. Actually, he's probably playing Bowmaster. I'm on the draw. Ragavan, let's go on the draw. So let's try this out. I think Tidebinder's still good. You can hit You could do like the Shadow Spear, make it useless. I can hit Saga Chapter, so he can't get Shadow Spear. I think that's relevant. But yeah, I think that was good. I thought my opponent was going to block differently, like try to not die to Tribal Flames, but I guess I didn't. You know, he didn't even. I would have to have exactly land Tribal Flames in hand. But I feel like the Ragavan attack was suspicious. It's just showing I was clearly prioritizing pushing through damage. So obviously it could have been a bluff, but I think it worked. I needed him to block the. He would have had to double block the like basically trade his whole board. So I think either way the attack was good for me. Like yes, I lose a Ragavan, but he blocks with his Goyf, and then I could have just jammed like tap land go basically, and then held up stub still. And I think I would have been in fine shape. I think I'm winning that race no matter what. Okay, I like this hand actually against Jund. It's only got one threat, but we have answers to like turn 1 Ragavan, like the things that I'm concerned about. So I'm gonna keep. Oh, he does have Jegantha, which means I guess it doesn't mean that much. So we're definitely gonna keep this. We have answers to Saga. We've got a threat. I don't like to mulligan against like Jund anyway, but like he's probably gonna go turn 1 Ragavan. I'm gonna go turn 1 Bolt, and then we'll play Magic. Could be wrong, obviously. You could go with Thoughtseize. Probably just take Nacatl or Bolt, maybe, or Tear Asunder, maybe. My cards are good. All right, perfect. Just how we drew it up. So we'll 1-for-1 him until eventually we will get to. I'm trying to think if there's any reason not to just play this. No, I'm gonna play this. Until eventually maybe we draw Bonecrusher or we get our Jegantha or whatever. We turn the corner. Wonder if he plays Ren 6. I know some of these lists were, some aren't. He's on the kind of old school version, so I feel like he might not have Ren 6. He has Goyf. I have an answer in Binding, so it's fine. Also, his Goyf will be like a 3/4. So maybe he'll play it. He just mysteriously passes. I think. Oh, never mind. It's Shadow Spear in play, sure. So again, you could have Fatal Push. I think I'm just still going to jam Nacatl here. It's a little awkward. Like my life total does matter. I could try Tear Asunder the Shadow Spear. I don't think that's a good use of my turn though, and I really want this for Urza Saga. He's obviously showing like I could play Nacatl, and I have to just think if I need like blue and black this turn. I don't have Zaggoth Triome in the deck again, so this is important because I could need it later. But do I want to like watch my life total and be like, if I draw a Scion, I guess that would be the most punishing thing. Because then I have no way of playing it on 3. But if I draw like a Kavu, I guess this is maybe an instance where it's a little awkward. So let's just do this then. We don't have any blue cards in our deck except for Tidebinder. Maybe we just get black now. Annoying thing is we can't get white. I know I'm overthinking this. I'm just trying to think of what. He could play Blood Moon, which I don't care about, so because I have Forest right here. So I'm just trying to think for a second. Green, black. I think we're just going to get green, black. Obviously, life total does matter, but I just don't want to top deck like a creature like a Kavu or something and be like, oh fuck, I can't get 5 types this turn. Plus I have Binding in hand, so it might actually be relevant to like bind to be able to double spell next turn. So we are going to do this way. And I'm expecting this to get Fatal Push, but I think it's still correct to run out. And if it doesn't get Fatal Push, then he doesn't have it in hand. He also, let's see if he has a shock to do this, which would be nice. Okay, it looks like he's not doing it. Okay, so he could have Fatal Push, he just didn't want to shock there, or he might not have anything. Fable would be annoying here. If he just goes Goyf and then slams something, then that'd be ideal for me. I'm a little confused about what his hand is. Haywire Might. Okay, that's not really that scary. Doesn't equip. So was he holding out like Bowmaster and maybe he's gonna try like trade everything? Seems likely. Okay, let's play our land first because I just don't know how this is going to unfold here. We're probably gonna get Steam Vents here. Point. I will attack into him. I'm expecting, let's see, Bowmaster ping plus something else. I could bind if I wanted to, but then he can Haywire Might. No, he'll be tapped out, so he can't Haywire Might. And I could try to like keep my thing alive. I don't know if that's worth doing though. Honestly, the Shadow Spear is probably the bigger issue, but he's also our only threat. Also just like Tear Asunder here and shut off my opponent's plan entirely. But he gains 2, and I feel like that's just not a good use of the Tear Asunder. I'm being honest. I don't even think this is a good use of my Binding. Okay, he just does nothing. Also acceptable. Do I think I need to hold up Binding? So he's gonna go end of turn Shadow Spear. It's kind of annoying. He's also a discard deck, so I am less happy about keeping these in hand, so I think I'm gonna just fire this off. I am gonna fetch shock to fire this off. Like again, life total matters, but I think I want to hold up this Binding to get the Shadow Spear because he's gonna try to gain life. So I think this is the correct play. Taking a lot of damage myself, but he's gonna have a hard time winning this race when I get rid of his Shadow Spear. Obviously, he can like slam something crazy. He's at 7. Again, he's taking a lot of damage himself, and I haven't done that much damage to him. If he equips Shadow Spear here, not equipping, not doing anything. What's he at Bowmaster now? He just didn't want to take the life loss. I don't want to waste this Binding on something useless, so we'll pass. Okay. Again, I'm feeling Bowmaster. Let's play this land, and I think we just attack in. He can just chump or whatever. He might just have nothing in hand, but he didn't play a land, so that's a little sus. I'm just trying to think of like what would be a blowout that I'd play around. Yeah, keeping this mana open is like really bizarre to me. But hey, maybe he's got like Undying Spell. I don't know, it's fine. Do whatever, man. Okay, so he made a mistake here because now he can't sack his Haywire Might to do anything. So I think I can blow him out here. I want to try not to use both these up. Yeah, he does this. Sure. Okay, so he wants to get blown out. Fine with me. So we'll bind the... Let's think about this for a second. Bind the Haywire Might. He could have an Undying spell on the Bowmaster. That could be what he's trying to do. And if I bind the Bowmaster, then he could go Undying on the Haywire Might. Do I care? No, it's probably worse if he goes Undying on the Bowmaster. So let's go and bind the Bowmaster. I guess then he can get back his card. Sorry, he can get back. He can untap with Haywire Might. So I'm gonna end up having to use both these, which is kind of not what I wanted to do. So I could let this trade happen. I could Tear Asunder the Haywire Might. He can't use an Undying spell then. He could still Undying the Bowmaster, but I feel like he would have blocked with one if he had an Undying spell. I need to save one of these for this Shadow Spear for sure. So I think I need to bind the Haywire Might, and he Undyings me, then I accept. Maybe I just don't care. No, I think I keep my threat alive, right? I'm expecting a Undying spell on this Bowmaster. I guess it dies either way, but I don't know. I don't know if this is the right play. Maybe I should just accept this trade. Yeah, you have an Undying spell. You do. No, you don't. You just have Bolt. You have an Unholy Heat. Okay, that's fine. Okay, I guess that's good for him. He has both these left. I would like to grab Jegantha, but I need to Tear Asunder that Shadow Spear when he equips it. And we'll get a basic Plains. Do that. Wait, we already played a land, never mind. Okay. He thought seizes me at this point. Good on him. I think that was that an okay exchange? I mean, he could get the Haywire Might back. Was he shooting like Dash Monkey now? Oh, okay. I'm fine with that. Okay. Exile the Shadow Spear. Sure, take one. I would like to draw something useful off my deck, please. It's at 11. Oh, yeah, let's see if you want to crack that fetch. Okay, Ragavan is not super useful. I think what we're probably supposed to do is play land, grab Jegantha, Tribal Flames, face. And again, I'm just worried about the discard stuff. I mean, maybe I shouldn't be at this point. If he thought seizes me, no, I'm going to get the value out of this. That 2, and we'll grab Jegantha. So we'll get our Plains. You know, it's still a close game. I mean, he's dead to a lot of my top decks. Maybe he gets greedy and attacks with both. I guess not, but I'm still pretty far ahead. I feel like I don't know what his last card in hand is. He's probably going to think he might crack that fetch still, actually. No, he's not going to. He can't thought seize me, so he has to have an answer to Jegantha. I guess Goyf would be good here. You could have another Unholy Heat. Okay, what does that tell me? He has either another Bowmaster or an Unholy Heat. Okay, I think I'm going to just jam. Obviously, he can... If he has an Unholy Heat, this is bad, but if he has an Unholy Heat, I dash and waste a turn anyway. He's not playing around my dash Ragavan, so I think he either has another Bowmaster or he has an Unholy Heat. Oh, he doesn't have Delirium. He only has 3 card types. Cool. He's at 1. Desperate times. Call for desperate measures, I suppose. See what he does here. Terminate. Fatal Push won't do it. Big Goyf would do it. Actually, maybe not with the binding. Let's see what he does. Haywire Might. Okay, he get his other Haywire Might back in some life. Okay. Do I have a way to win this? Not with his Haywire Might right there. I don't think it's right to dash Ragavan. I think we just attack. Let's see what he does here. Again, he'll gain some life. Maybe we'll just chump with Haywire Might. But he has to decide between getting his other Haywire Might back. I guess it's not really a decision, huh? Yeah, sure. Okay, he's going to gain a little bit of life here, but do I want to just play Ragavan? Nah, I don't care about anything. I don't want to play Binding for him to just do the Haywire Might thing again. Obviously, binding that Haywire Might wasn't the strongest play. Okay, this is interesting. Interesting attack. He does not think I have Monkey in hand, evidently. We're going to dash Monkey and then go from there. Goyf. Okay. Okay, so he tapped wrong again, and he's probably dead. He has no green mana unless he plays a forest here. Okay, so now we move. He's gonna go to 1 for this. That's fine. Yeah, he tapped his mana wrong. He didn't hold up green for Haywire Might. He did that twice this game, or twice this match, and it lost him the match. I guess I technically didn't even need to bind this Haywire Might. No, I did. Yeah, okay, we got there. Yeah, so he did that in the last game too. Just like lost him the game. So he needed to tap the Blood Crypt and the Overgrown Tomb and leave green mana up, and he would have been in better shape. He wouldn't have been in amazing shape because I would have, but he would have, yeah. So that was on him. I don't know why he did that, but I think he did it last game too, and that's literally what lost him the game. I mean, obviously I was still ahead, but you know, you got to be careful with your tapping your mana. I know because I play Domain Zoo, and you tap the wrong mana source, you lose the game. In that case, I have no idea unless he just wasn't thinking like why he. I know he used. Well, actually, let's think. He used 1 green mana for the first Haywire Might. Like if he had another one, I don't know. I guess he wasn't playing around more bindings. I mean, who would have known that my hand was exactly 2 bindings, which was basically all he died to. So actually he would have lived with yeah, okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe his line was okay. He didn't have more green mana. He couldn't fetch at that point. So you got a little choked on mana at the end with the green sources. So I don't know, we're doing pretty well so far. We'll see. 3-0 is good, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. Okay, back for round 4. We did lose the die roll finally, so the dream is over. This hand is not amazing on the draw, but it is keepable. And let's see what my opponent does. Okay, so I will keep this hand. It's not amazing, like I said, but it gets the job done. A solid 7. Scales, okay. I believe that's what this is. Endlhaven, yeah, this is Scales. Ragavan's pretty bad against Scales, so although now we have Kavu, I can make him trade his creatures, which might not be the worst. I actually am going to do that now that we drew Kavu. If we hadn't drawn Kavu, I wouldn't do this. Let me just think for a second. So probably go Foothill. Oh, we can go Windswept Heath, get red white. But we might need to get a basic plains later. Red white, green black. Trying to think of sequencing here. I think I can just go. I think I can go red white from the Heath. And again, this is just because he could grow something big, but not with the start he had. And if he trades a creature, I'm fine with Ragavan trading with whatever he plays. It's just like a removal spell. And usually I want to try to slow him down a little bit. Again, him starting with Stirring is indicative of not the strongest start. That means he likely didn't have Scales in hand or something he thought worth playing. We'll see now if he does. Sure. Like, yeah, I'll trade here. He'll get his 1 token. I don't care, though. I'll just keep playing my threats out. Ragavan did its job. Didn't allow the hanger back to be made into a million things. Okay, and now I want to think sequencing here. So green, black, and then red, white, red, blue is what we want to do, right? Because I want to be able to get double red. So let's do green, black. I want double red so that I want this sequence so I can have some flexibility next turn. But I'm probably going to just play Kavu or Scion to give first strike trample. So let's see what my opponent does. Again, I think it's one of his slower starts. Okay, so now he finally can get Scales in play. But okay, that's fine. Let's see what other threats he's got here. Okay, Soul Cauldron's a little annoying. I can bind it though. Yeah, I'm gonna bind it. I'm taking this damage. Am I though? Could just bind this. He gets another creature though. It's kind of annoying. I mean, he flies, so I am taking it. So when you just exile a creature card. Okay, red blue. I'm just trying to think of sequencing here. We're just gonna jam Scion. Although you could argue to just jam another Kavu because of the situation on board, and I can get the Kavus down. And like I'm trying to think of what I'm exactly scared of. I don't think anything. He wants to race this. He wants to race me. Like he can put a counter on it. It'll get 2 counters. But I think I'm gonna win this race. I'm at 9. Missed last words, right? He doesn't know about the binding though. I guess I could. No, I'm not gonna chump anything. What am I? So I could dash. No, I need to hold up. Never mind. Sorry. I don't need to do any of this beforehand. Actually, I actually think my hand is great. Well, actually, we'll get rid of Ragavan. I don't need Ragavan right now. If we get, I don't think what we would hit that would be relevant. Maybe a burn spell. But let me read this again. Okay, so I'm gonna exile actually my own Ragavan. I don't want to put another creature in the graveyard for Soul Cauldron. Obviously, I didn't need to play that land. I didn't need to play that land early. Sorry, to make it a 5/5. I don't quite have lethal next turn, but I'm like close. Kind of disappointing. I have binding up, so mysteriously have binding up. Don't care about what he does. I have to think if it changes if he puts another creature on the stack. It might, right? Because this doesn't get the other abilities. Okay, so now we bind this, and then he puts Zabaz, and I don't care. I'm gonna just bind this Thopter token. I could actually bind the Scales, right? So bind the Scales. He dies. Doesn't have any counters on it. Then he can attack me for 3 though. He can Soul Cauldron it. Let's see. This will go to the graveyard. He can Soul Cauldron here. Make this a 5/5. I'm just trying to think of what I need to be scared of. Like maybe I just save the bindings for when he like blows up things. The problem is he'll put all the counters on Zabaz, but I guess there's an issue if he has 2 creatures exactly. But he can make this the problem is if I bind this, he can basically make this into Zabaz. So I think this is fine. I think we wait. What's he destroying? Isn't it destroying itself? Okay. No, he doesn't have land for Pasaju. I mean, assuming he's playing around Leyline Binding. Apparently not. You have lethal here if I let this resolve. Take this. He loses all those counters. And then he plays a Ballista that's a 2/2 that he can then make a 3/3. Because he can then exile Zabaz, destroy it. Trying to think of how I lose this game. He has no cards in hand. So if we bind the Thopter, he'll make a Ballista that's a 2/2. And then ping me for 2 and I attack for 1,000,000 and I still have binding up. I guess he can make the Ballista 3/3, right? If he exiles one of these creatures, and then he can give it modular. Okay. This is fine. Oh, never mind. It just dies. I see, because he went Ballista for 0 because he wants to make this into a Ballista. Okay, so now Now, I think we could have waited to bind, but we don't need to. I think we could have waited for him to select that. Okay. I think we're winning this, unless he top decks something amazing that can get me through my binding. We're going to exile Zabaz from the graveyard for sure, and then discard Ragavan. Maybe we should just not discard anything. We could find lethal with Tribal Flames. That could be a reason, but I also put a creature in the graveyard, which allows him to get another counter. I don't think I care about that, though. So I think we will exile Zabaz. Yeah, we don't really need to do anything, I guess, because we're so far ahead. And then discard Ragavan. So I'm playing this really carefully because I messed up this matchup last time I played against it. Okay, well, that doesn't really help us right now with the mana situation, but all right. Opponent is very close to dead. Even if he draws a creature here, I don't think he can win in his last words. Okay, we got there. He must have bricked on his draws or whatever. So he tried to race there, and I had 2 Leyline Bindings. That was basically how that matchup went down. Pretty sweet, I would say. So I have Chalices now. Are those good in this matchup? I don't know. I used to not have them. I don't think this is a Jegantha matchup either. What Chalices stop a lot of his stuff on 0, but they just get countered and go to his graveyard, and sometimes that's what he's trying to do. But it stops like Hangerback and stuff like that, so it's probably worth it. I don't know. It's kind of like the Nombo, though. Like, you blow up your own Chalice with EE. Or sorry, your Chalice counters EE. Is that right? No, it's double. I forget what the... I guess I should probably read the ruling of... I definitely want EE. All right, let's just go without Chalices for now, and let's see what happens. So I have to read the ruling again on what it is between EE and Chalice. One blows up the other, one counters the other, or whatever. Does Chalice counter EE? No, because it'll have the value that it's the X value, but X value is always 0. Ugh. All right, well, we want Tear Asunders and Natural States and Prismatic Endings. What's not good? Stubs are definitely bad in this matchup, for sure. Okay, so let's look at what our sideboard guide... Again, this is an outdated sideboard guide because I'm still working on refining it. But this has us against scales. We're going to cut our stubs, cut a Bolt, Ragavan, and a Tribal Flames. So actually, let's cut 2 Ragavans because we're on the draw. Bolt, 2 Ragavans, Tribal Flames. We try this. I'm going to go without the Chalices, again, because I'm just kind of weirded out by this interaction. I think I'm going to counter my own E's if I do that. So I'm worried I'm going to get too far behind and then like have to like EE something and then not be able to. But I'd have to talk to some other people about whether I'm supposed to do this or not. I don't think I am. But anyway, we're going to give this a shot. Of course, we only have 1 natural state now instead of 2, but you know, I had to make some adjustments to make the Cascade matchup better. All right, so we have EE and we have Ragavan. Neither of those are particularly good. Well, EE is good, but is this a keep? It probably is. Kavu's good, but you can chump it, but I think it's probably a keep. We at least have 1 sideboard card, so you know, give it a shot. See if he just goes off here. His draw was pretty weak last game. Now he has a turn 1 play, so his draw is probably less weak. I don't think we're gonna play EE on... We could have technically played EE on 1. I want to see what he does here, though. Oh wait, we could have played Ragavan. Why didn't I do that? Oh no, it's a little clunky with the lands. I guess I just want to get the Triome in play. All right, he's going off with Saga, Ravager. Kind of okay. So he's like doing his thing. Okay, we have second EE here. So his Ravager is going to get really big. I could play EE on 0. I could go green blue, play EE on 0, and then potentially later play EE on 1. But also play Rat. Nah, that thing's going to get way too big. I'm going to play EE on 0 because I don't know how this is going to go. But maybe it's not worth playing on 0. But I have 2 of them, so I feel like it is worth it. Does one of them blow up the other though? If it's on 0, I think so. I really should learn about my cards since I'm playing with my cards, but you know, here we are. But also EE on 2, kill the Ravager, but he's got too much other stuff going on right now. So do I think I'm going to EE on 0? I'll kill Saga tokens, but it'll probably still make things too big. This is fine. I have 2 E's. We're going. We're giving it a shot. Again, I don't feel super comfortable with this matchup. I think I messed it up a lot. But I think this is okay. Tidebinder would be pretty nice draw here to stop the Saga thing. What are we going to do here? So I have a feeling I'm going to loot away this forest. So let's see. He makes a token. He could chump here, put things in artifact. Probably doesn't block at all. But I also maybe, do I need the forest? I have a lot of red in this hand, so I'm inclined to loot away the forest. Guard the forest. Okay, get another land. Okay, so our other option is to play EE on 1. We'll be able to regenerate the Ozolith, though, is probably how that's going to end. Like, I guess what's really going to happen is Ravager's going to get too big. So I have a way of dealing with that. Right? I could just say, just accept this, go Kavu, but like I'm worried he can kill me next turn. Let's see, he'll make a Saga token, sack 1. He's going to get 3 artifacts to sack. This thing's going to get huge. He doesn't have a way to kind of like make it lethal. I guess he has to get it to the Inkmoth Nexus, which has 0 CMC, but then he can regenerate with Welding Jar before that. So do I win though with just like EE on 1? Like I'm not gonna be able to hold up mana forever. I think I like the EE on, I don't know, it's like close, I guess. I'm trying to think about this for a second. Right, because I go EE on 1. I don't know what I'm doing. just pushing buttons. Yeah, so let's go. I kind of want the second Kavu on board, though. I feel like I'm playing too defensively with E on 1 and E on 2, but I'm worried you can kill me next turn. You might still be able to kill me even if I do this. I have to know what I'm doing, and I don't really. That's exciting. Classic. All right, let's see what my opponent does here. I actually might Fetch Shock now. I want to be able to hold these all up. I don't want to be able to respond to anything. No, it's like a kind of overkill. Do I want red-white or red-blue? Probably red-white. I can get basic forest. I don't know, am I dead? Maybe. Yeah, he's not going to make a second construct, which kind of makes sense. I mean, he could, I guess, make the Ravager huge, and I can't do anything about it. I might just be dead, honestly. He has second Saga. He has Springleaf Drum. I could crack EE on 1 right now. He goes sack. I have to wait to do it. Wait till he starts doing stuff. Okay. Sure do have a lot of things going on there. Sure. So now am I dead if he is able to put everything on the Ink Moth and then regenerate the Ink Moth? I think I am, right? Because he can go sack. I could crack E on 1 right now. Maybe I'm just dead. I don't know how to play this. I wish I knew the lines better. I think I'm dead. Because he has Welding Jar, so I think I had to pop these earlier. Sure. At the beginning of combat on your turn. Yeah. So if I crack this now, he goes Welding Jar on Nexus, and then he has no way to get rid of this, though. I think I crack this now. But then he can just make this into a Ravager, and then I think I lose, right? He can just make this into a Ravager, do the same thing again. I don't know. I think I'm dead. I wish I knew. Obviously, I need to study these lines more because I don't know what I'm doing. I need to probably just play the deck. I'm definitely not playing this correctly. Yeah, so now he just turns this into a Ravager. Yeah, I guess I just lost. I don't know. Okay, I guess we'll run it back. Again, I'm just asking my opponent because I'm like, I don't know what I was supposed to do. Do I need to like destroy the, like, do EE on 1 right away? I feel like he had a resilient hand to, yeah. Okay, this hand has all the reactive spell. Wait, I thought I took Chalice out. So I just feel like, man, I can try this hand. It's not very disruptive, but we're on the play, so let's be aggressive. Let's bottom. Scion is really good. Okay, let's think about sequencing. We'll go start with the green-black. Nacatl go. Yeah, so my opponent's saying I should board out Ragavan. That's fine, I guess. That's what it is. Now we're just hoping that he has, like, I don't know. That he doesn't go off like he did last game. He kept 7, so he will. Already going poorly. Hey, give me something good. Okay, so we're attacking with our Nacatl, and then we're going to play our Kavu, and then next turn we're going to play our Scion. So we'll see if we get there. He might have Dismember in his deck. I don't know what they're playing. Yep, that's, like, fine. We want to play Brawler or Scion. Scion, he could Beseiju. Brawler, he can chump kind of easily. Scion goes over the top. Probably red-blue with this hand. I'm just worried about him. Like, he could have Beseiju and other stuff, but I'm more worried about him, like, being able to make a creature that's bigger than 3/3, and just, like, my Brawler can't do anything. Okay, he's playing Echo Deeps, so I think this is a desperation move. Okay, I mean, unless he just makes this giant, but I think I'm still okay. We don't have a way to block Zabaz, so we could just be dead next turn, I guess. Sure. Those are really bad draws. I drew all lands, I think. Fortunate. Okay, let's try to bluff something. Go land, blue, green. I wish I understood this deck better. I keep saying that. I have to play a league with it because I feel like I'm taking the wrong lines. Obviously, we didn't have disruption, but we're on the play, so I was trying to just go fair hand. I think it just might already be over. He doesn't have a flyer yet, though, which is relevant. This doesn't do anything, huh? He doesn't have white mana, so I'm chump. All right, we might be in an okay spot. I need, like, Tribal Flames off the top, and did all, or land. Am I dead next turn? I don't have lethal. I don't have Jegantha. Why did I bring in? I thought I didn't bring in the Chalices. I must have messed that up. Don't do anything. He doesn't have white mana. Brutal. So he did have Beseiju, but I literally have nothing. I don't even have Jegantha to bring in. Yep. Brutal. Yeah. Well, that was my one hope, was that he didn't have Beseiju. Now I think I'm dead. Ugh. All right. Okay. So yeah, I don't know why I thought I didn't have Jegantha in here. I don't know. I must have accidentally brought in Chalice. I guess I can cut all the Ragavans, but yeah, my opponent was just saying that his aggressive hands are the best, and I should cut Ragavan. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know the right lines for this matchup. I know I've said that 5,000 times, but, like, this is my second time losing the scales recently, and I just wish I knew what I was doing, but I don't. And, like, I kept a fair hand, which, like, maybe you could say I'm not supposed to keep that, but, like, that's such a, like, what I'm in I want an aggressive hand, and I had an aggressive hand. He just had 2 answers to my aggressive hand, and then I drew 4 lands, and that was the difference in this game. So I'm a little frustrated. I'm a little frustrated by this matchup still. So I'll have to rewatch this. If you're, like, a Scales player, you know how to play the matchup, tell me what I did wrong. Other than, like, I didn't even know I boarded in Chalice, but it, like, wouldn't have made a difference. I was trying to show my sideboard. I don't know where it is. It's disappearing on me. Oh, it's right here. Never mind. Yeah, so, like, somehow I brought in 1 Chalice. I didn't mean to do that. But on the play, I probably need to have all 4 Ragavans, and yeah. But frustrating because I felt like we were on a really good run. I really thought we were gonna get the trophy today, but my opponent just had a little too much, too strong of a hand. And then game 2, I just had nothing, and he just like went off. Like my opponent was like, "Oh yeah, unless you have Tear Asunder or Natural State or something in your hand, like you were already dead on turn 3." With like the sequencing he had. So I was like, cool. Like, it's like when you play against like Amulet Titan or Living End and they just have the nuts and you're like, oh cool, did I do anything wrong? No, not really. I mean, maybe slight suboptimal sideboarding, so I can control that. I can improve that. But I don't know, maybe I had access to other lines. I'll have to rewatch it. But I've struggled a lot with that matchup just because it's not super common. And like sometimes I just go aggressive and that obviously worked there, and then it just didn't work the second time. All right, but we're in round 5. Here we are. We're on the draw. Okay, no, I don't want to see my sideboard anymore. Okay, is this a keep? We're on the draw. It's a pretty bad hand, but I know 3 spells, 4 lands. It's hard for me to mull on the draw. We have a threat. We have some interaction. Like, I think I have to keep this. Like, I think if you're sending hands like this back in an unknown matchup, then I think that's just mulliganing a little too aggressively. If it was a known matchup and I was like, this hand's not going to cut it, then that's fine. But here we are, unknown matchup, so I'm going to keep this. We will keep what my opponent does. Okay, so Amulet. So maybe we all pray together. We can stub a second Amulet here. He just goes, if he gets greedy. If not, then it's going to be a rough road ahead. Especially because, again, we don't have Zaggl's Triumph, so we can't pair it like this. So let's think for a second how we want to do this. I guess if he doesn't do that, we can get Savai, and then we can get Breeding Pool with this. So he will attempt to. So maybe he gets greedy, and I can get rid of one of his amulets. But this is like already rough. Like, this is not the start you want to see, you know? Want to play the second Amulet, you want to. Nope. Okay. Now we're in trouble. He might try to go Ring. We could stub Ring. I think he could like raise her into Ring, maybe. I lose count here. Copy Amulet. You go Dryad. Okay. Get another land drop. Go another Gardens. Jesus. Go Map. I can stub the Map. So let's see. I just need to keep track of his land. If I stub the Map, he can't get another green-blue. I think I'm gonna do that. And then bind the Amulet and then just pray that he has nothing. That's our line here. I'm just trying to think if I can do Steam Vents. No, I need to do green-blue and then play Sacred Foundry next turn. I think it's better to I think it's better to bind the Amulet than it is to bind the Dryad at this point in the game. I think it will slow him down a few turns. Obviously, you can do different things, different ideas. I could play around main deck Force of Vigor. I think that's unlikely. I could let him go to Upkeep. No, we're just going to Upkeep bind the Amulet. We could do it. I don't know. He probably doesn't have main deck Force of Vigor, but he could. It's possible. Oh, no, wait. He can copy it then. I just punted so hard there. I can't believe I just did that. Why did I do that? That was so stupid. He was tapped out. I could bind the Amulet and be in good shape, and decide let him untap so he can copy with his 2 Miko Synth Gardens, or one of his Miko Synth Gardens. That was so dumb. I actually can't believe I did that. I overthought my line too much. Fuck. Sorry. Damn. That's so bad. That was so bad. I can't. Yeah, that's just gonna lose me the game probably. Oh man, this is what happens to me sometimes. I like make one mistake in a game or like play like suboptimally, and I'm like overthinking everything. Literally, could have just bind it on my turn. He just has Dryad. He plays a bounce land, bounces this, and I have probably another turn to like set up Brawler and things like that, and maybe be okay. Now he's probably just trying to think about how he wins. Oh, that was so bad. Just no matter what, I can't get rid of his Amulet now. He could just hold up this mana forever, right? Because I can bind it and he can make a copy. Yeah, that was really bad. That just lost me the game, most certainly. Because he's playing around binding. That was stupid. I'm an idiot. I think he's probably thinking the same thing. Like, what is this guy doing? He's gonna just go Titan here. And then what? Then I just lose. Yeah, I think I just lose. If I bind right now, he can make a copy and still go Titan. All right, so we needed to bind that. We made a huge mistake there for reasons. For I'm an idiot reasons. He was playing around Reprieve. I don't know. I can't believe I just did that. That was the most boneheaded play I've made in a long time playing Magic. I'm about to just concede, honestly. Okay, he has nothing. Exciting. So we're just ignore the amulets and just plan on him having nothing. I mean, you get like 10 amulets, but if he just has nothing, then maybe I can win. Probably not, though. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he could have just not had the amulet and then could have not done anything. Or not had the ring, I mean. Not had amulet, not being able to play ring, not being able to do anything. I'm an idiot. Tap here. No. Have all the amulets you want. Hopefully you have nothing in hand. Or I'm dead this turn. But that's fine. We deserve to lose because we blew it. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. We'll figure it out. That was such a bad line, though. I can't believe I just did that. Okay, so he natty draws second amulet, and now it's over. I don't think he had second amulet before. He would have played it, I think. He wasn't tapped out. There goes Colossus. I'm probably just going to concede. Okay, so, yeah. Obviously, the punt there, he might have still gotten there, too. I had no pressure. And he now drew second amulet anyway, so. But obviously, you want to play the best lines. I just totally blew that. All right, let's get our prismatic endings. Let's get our reprieves. Let's get our Tear Asunders, let's get our natural states, and let's get our Chalices. I think there's debate about whether like Chalice is actually good in this matchup. I'm on the play, but I think Ragavan I found to be problematic if he has Grazer. So it's not really like amazing, but you want early pressure for sure. Let me look at what I usually take out. 3 bolts. Now we're gonna have to take out more than we normally do because of we're bringing in Chalices. Chalice isn't amazing. Like I'm trying to think what I normally cut. I think I would cut 2 Tribal Flames, 1 stub. Birds are not adding up like they normally do. I guess because I'm bringing in 2 extra cards. Okay. Maybe we just... If he has Grazer, like, Ragavan's a liability. Like, not that Ragavan's not good, but Bolt even necessary at all? Probably not. And then cut 1 Tribal Flames, could cut a Brawl. I think Brawler's good. Could have cut a stub. Mostly what you're stubbing is... Alright, we'll cut 1 stub. Stub's fine, but we also have... Like, mostly you're stubbing, like, Ring or something. They have it, but... Like, we have Chalices to turn off a bunch of their stuff, so... I don't know, we'll try this. I don't feel super confident about boarding here. Like, I know people say to bring in the Chalices for this matchup, but yeah. Maybe cutting all the Ragavans on the play is not the move. Okay. So, okay, we found it. We found this situation when I would have rather had a Zagoth Triome. It was this hand right here. So we'll play Brawler on turn 2. We probably would play Brawler on turn 2 anyway because of Boseiju. Like, so easy for them to kill Scion. So I hope he just doesn't go turn 1 Amulet, and if he does, I have to bind it. If he goes like Saga, then I have some time. He did keep 7, so he probably just has it. Who plays the Boseiju? You love to see it. Plays Grazer. If he has Saga. Saga's not so scary. I mean, it's scary, but yeah, okay, I guess it's scary. So yeah, the Ragavan answer. The Ragavan. Jokes on him, though. I don't have him in the deck. All right, we're going to emphasize getting green-black because most of our fetches get blue, but not all of them get black. Dub. Perfect. Perfect draw you want to see after you... do I just want to jam Chalice now? Like, what is he going to do? Like, go Amulet plus... Wait for me to tap out and then go Amulet plus something else. So I guess I can make... Actually, you can have, like... He already played 1 Boseiju, which means, like, maybe he doesn't have other lands in hand. Of course, we would like blue mana here, and we're not necessarily in amazing shape. I don't have an answer to the Saga, which I would love, but I do a Binding, so yeah, I don't know. Maybe we get there. I don't know. I'm feeling bad. I think last matchup I had a window to maybe win. Another game we had a 1-drop, but, like, Monkey would have done nothing here. Nacatl would have done something. I still think I keep this hand. Like, if I draw a land, this is, like, fine. Not an amazing shape, but if I draw a land, I can play another Brawler and then hold up Binding. See if he was going to pack for something. Maybe I threw off his whole plan. Or he just, like, has another Boseiju or Force of Vigor. But I don't... That's, like, the other reason I was hesitant to play Scion anyway, even with his hand, is because, like, I go Scion plus Chalice of the Void and I just lose to Force of Vigor. So, I just... This is where Scion's good in this matchup, but it's kind of liability. Like, yes, they play Sun Number Dismember, but they have to use life to do that. Boseiju allows us to ramp, but like, killing Scion's a big deal. We saw it last game where, like, Boseiju won them that game, essentially, along with me flooding out, and, you know, it is what it is. He just has Amulet. He does. Okay. So are we just dead now? Possible. Bounce Boseiju, use Boseiju on Chalice, and then Pact or something? Is our ramp a land in that situation? Well, actually, we could stub the Pact if he gives me a land to do it. Seems unlikely. He's really thinking about this one. So he's got 2 mana, 3 mana. Plays Dryad, sure. Plays another land. He has to have Natty Titan in hand. He also doesn't have enough mana unless he has another Grazer. Even with another Grazer, he doesn't have enough. I don't know what I actually bind here, because I can take the Amulet. He's going to get a second Amulet. I could take the Dryad. We have Boseijus now. Okay, he does. Okay. Turn off yield through turn. So we're about to stub this Pact. Blue, red. We gotta... Probably just want green, blue. He decides not to go for it. Mysteriously decides to not go for it. Okay. And we know it's... He doesn't have Boseiju in hand anymore, because we hold up Binding or stub. I think the only reason you Boseiju that is if you don't have Natty Titan in hand. The risk I'm willing to take, because the problem is if I bind something, I think I have to do this. If I bind 1 Amulet, he still has a second one. I know 1 is better than whatever, but I think I just have to hope he doesn't have Natty Titan in hand. And then maybe we can bind something later. I don't know. He's going to have 2 Amulets. Again, this is just hard to deal with when I don't have... I cut 1 natural state. Maybe that was a mistake. Maybe naturally is better than Tear Asunder. The thinking was that... But natural state seems to be more important in, like, this kind of matchup where you're just like, bro, what are we doing? I mean, maybe he just has it. But I kind of hope he doesn't. Like, there's a world where he doesn't. He's going to just try to get me with, like, a Ring as, like, bait. You just have Natty. Just play the Titan if you have it. Yep. Okay. So our Chalice tech did actually work. Or did it? Or did he just okay, reveal Summoner's Pact. Yeah. Gonna cast Summoner's Pact, or are you gonna some more shenanigans? Cast it in my upkeep. Oh, he could have double Summoner's Pact, but and if he's got that, then he's got that. Or is that just to bait this out, and then he now also has Natty Titan? Or he's got another Summoner's, can transmute for another Summoner's Pact? You have to have another T-West to do this. The Ring? Got 6 again, so he must just have a second Pact. No, he had second Teleria West in hand. What the fuck, dude? Yeah. So is he still 1 mana short, though? I haven't been I guess maybe he has to go Grazer or something else. Maybe I'm not dead. Maybe he can't go Titan because he doesn't have enough lands. I think he has. He has 3. I don't know how many land drops he's made, but... Right, because he had to have 2 copies of Teleria West to do that. He probably plays 4. I don't know. I have to look at how many lists that they play, but I guess he didn't have enough mana to do what I thought he was going to do. So he didn't cast the Summoner's Pact because he didn't want to lose. How do we win this, though? I'm gonna attack for 10. I wonder if I can win by binding the Titan, drawing a land, maybe. I guess it's not over yet. Binding the Titan before attacks. He does have a Beseju. He doesn't have a Beseju in hand. Okay, so I guess he was short on mana, so he didn't want to use the second pact. Okay. I guess he can transmute Teleria West. Like, what if I take Dryad right now? And is that the move? Which I need to... If I bind Dryad right now, he still has enough mana. Okay, so that's not gonna help me. I guess I could have... No, I think I needed to hold up... I don't know. Maybe I have a way out of this. I don't think I do, though, with 2 amulets. I think you just do, like, a million things. Sure. He doesn't have a lot of lands in play, so maybe I'm safe. We'll see. Maybe I can win this, actually. No, because he's still gonna have the Titan no matter what. Actually, no, he wanted the Titan. We'll see. He has to have another Beseju to get out of this. I guess I was doing this wrong. I didn't realize. Yeah, so he's gonna try to like do all the stuff to give it like a million things, but he did get another Beseju, which is brutal. But he doesn't have a bounce trigger for it. You mess up. You have another Beseju in hand. That's fine. Okay, he didn't bounce Beseju in hand. Okay, so we go to combat. Okay, could have upkeep. Okay, could have upkeep, Force of Vigor. Do we win now? We win. I think we win. I think I did the math wrong. Oh, maybe he has just Beseju in hand. Although that won't do it actually. They have Ring. Oh, Ring would be brutal. That is what he has, I think. Please just stop having an opponent. Okay, he has Beseju. I'm not dead. Maybe I'm almost dead. I can get a red source I need to double Tribal Flames him and attack. I don't think he can kill me. I don't think he can burn me out. He doesn't have enough land drops to do it. He doesn't have enough lands, even if he gets like something crazy. You get Radiant Fountain, I guess, and gain, what, 2 life? I think maybe we got this one. I don't know. Play Grazer. I don't know what gets him out of this. Okay, I think I played this okay. Again, I think Scales and Titan are the 2 decks where like I probably just need to play them to get a basic idea of like count their mana, their lines. Obviously, like I won't ever be as good as like a player that's his main deck, but just so like to know like when I'm dead and when I'm not dead. Because like here I thought I was dead and he had I was not dead because I could have just binded the Primal Evil Titan. And I think that's an underappreciated line. Like maybe he had a way to like bounce the Beseju back to hand to like play around binding, but his opponent did not, so I'm not entirely sure. And again, I also don't know what he can get that can win this game for him. Of course, he doesn't know about double Tribal Flames in hand, but I think even Radiant Fountain, you gain 2 life from it. Oh, he's going to try to Otawara a creature? Guess that? Otawara creature? I don't know what he's doing. He's got a million mana. Got Otawara, you can bounce it to hand, and then you can Otawara one of the brawlers, and then not die. Unless he's got like another pact, a ring or something. I don't think he has ring at this point. Second Titan would be ridiculous. Looks like he's Otawaring it. Okay. All right, so double Tribal Flames will end it then. Cool deck, bro. I'm just kidding. We got crushed by game 1. Okay, so we Tribal Flames once, we Tribal Flames twice. That's what it's all about. That's why you play Zoo, to win games like that out of nowhere, double Tribal Flames. Okay, game 3, we got a chance. Let's not get too much in our head. Let's not mess it up like we did the other games. Chalice, good. In fact, third Chalice, probably good too. Tribal Flames also good though, but Stub was also good. I don't know. I don't want to cut anything. That's a classic Zoo problem. On the draw, maybe Tidebinder's too slow, but it does do a lot. Brawler, I kind of like Brawler though. It tramples over things. Like I don't know. Maybe 1 Tribal Flames. Classic, like I just won a game with 2 Tribal Flames, and I'm like, oh, let me cut it. But on the draw, I think it's harder to do that. Like if my opponent was on the play, he would have killed me. But on the draw, I had a chance. So maybe I've not valued the line. It's risky. So we go turn 2 binding on the thing with the stuff, the amulet, and we're on the draw already. This feels so slow. I don't think I can keep this. Like it's good. You have like 2 threats. You have Tribal Flames. Maybe I don't ship this back. I just worry it's gonna be too slow because even if we interact with the amulet on turn 2, I'm gonna kept 7. So I feel like we have to look for, but we don't really have that many turn 1 plays like Natural State, Prismatic Ending. I guess one of those. Or Asunder. Okay, I think this is better actually. Let's get Savai Triome. Yeah. Okay, let's put Breeding Pool back. These both get what we need, right? Because I can get yeah. All right, so we just have to hope to like hang on there. This is also like the same hand actually as the 6, except for it has Tear Asunder instead of Binding, so maybe it's not much better. All right, Natural State from the top or Prismatic Ending, please deck. Chalice of the Void. Not nothing. Not amazing either though. I think we're just gonna jam this now. You can start doing stuff next turn. And then we have to hope he doesn't have second amulet, and we can just like destroy the amulet or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Don't have too many amulets, please. Don't have too many amulets. He's got to have Bounce Land, right? Because that's why you play Boseiju first. And I feel like if he had Gardens, he would have played it first, but maybe not. Maybe I don't know how this deck works. Opponent is thinking. Plays Bounce Land. Sure. 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 Plays Dryad. Okay. 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 Plays Growth Chamber again. You have Grazer now? Probably not. Okay, so he's doing the ramping thing. Could have another amulet and just not want to play it. Okay. Let's think of how we want to do this. Green, blue. I think we're just going to Tear Asunder the amulet, like, right now. I'm trying to think of any reason to not do that. He could Boseiju me, and I could save some life total. Possible. Okay, this one I can upkeep. But I think I want to kill the amulet, not the Dryad here. I think with the... Unless he has another amulet in hand, I think playing the amulet here is relevant. Fortunately, we have applied no pressure, but this is kind of like how this game goes on the draw. By natural state, I could have done natural state on turn 1. All right. It's out of our hands. The problem is he can still... Let's see. I guess let's see if he has another amulet. He might. And then I'll just accept my fate. You can play 2 lands a turn, but you can't play bounce lands. You can play, like... I don't know. He didn't play Saga, which leads me to believe he doesn't have Saga, but maybe it's just with the sequencing. He plays Valakut tapped. Boros Garrison. The problem is he can still play Titan next turn. Like, so if I Tribal Flames him, he can't. But am I ever winning if I just Tribal Flames him and then, like, I have no pressure on board, right? Because he can go the same thing he did. Land, tap, land, bounce land. I don't know. Maybe I'm playing too defensively. Like, just hope this, like, makes his hand clunky. I don't know. I have no pressure on board. Maybe I'm playing too scared and just like, let him do his thing. Like, we haven't done any damage, so, like, he can just literally ramp into Natty Titan here, and we haven't applied any pressure. So maybe that wasn't the best line. They just make his life harder, though. You can just go regular land here, or you go ring. So, but maybe we get another land, and I can double spell, like, Kavu plus Scion, and maybe, I don't know, maybe we get out of this. Maybe he just has, like, 3 packs in hand, and or Teleria West or whatever, and doesn't have... Maybe he just has ring. Or maybe he just draws another amulet. All right, so now we lose. Yeah, put in the comments if you thought I was supposed to kill Dryad there. Obviously, I'm just so far behind. I've cast Tear Asunder and Tribal Flames, and I haven't put any creatures on board. I really wanted a hand with a 1-drop or like a 1-mana answer amulet, so I could go turn 1 answer amulet and then play a threat turn 2. But we didn't have that. You know, we have 3 copies of that natural state plus 2 prismatic endings, and we just didn't get there. But now he can just like go Titan and kill me, I think, next turn or something. Not. Or maybe he doesn't have it. It's possible. Anything's possible. I think I want red white. Then we can like bluff that we have a binding, make him scared. Ooh. Even better. Red, green. Actually, we should probably do this first. All right, we drew our answer. But he can still go Titan next turn. Just not as scary without other stuff there. All right, we'll get our Kavu on board. Maybe he just has packs in hand. I don't know. Or he just plays Natty Titan. And then we can summon a Leyline Binding from the top of our deck. Easy peasy. Summon a Tear Asunder with a land somehow. Sure. We should prime time. Bounce Boseiju to hand. I don't know what he's going to do. Get 2 Valakuts, but you don't have enough mountains. Just go with the Valakut burn plan. Wonder if there's any world where he blocks Kavu and I can trade. Maybe a greedy world. He could probably just take the attack. I mean, that's what I would do, right? I don't know. I don't have a good read on what's in his hand. We know it's not a ring. He would have played it. We know it's not another amulet. He gets the Saga, so it's him trying to get an amulet in time. We can kill his Titan if he blocks, which he shouldn't. But you never know. You never know. Another Kavu. We could loot away this Kavu. What's the benefit of doing that? We could also loot away the Scion in case he has Boseiju. Like Kavu better than Scion. Scion flies over the top, though. I think I want to loot away... I don't know, Kavu's good, but he can start chumping it with Saga tokens if he has to. So, I think we loot away this Kavu. Try to find a 4th land. Or a binding or something. We found the 4th land. No way you block here, right? You block, you lose. Thinking about it. I mean, you don't lose, but... not a suspicious block at all. Alright, go ahead. Blow me out with Force of Vigor. I've been waiting. I've been waiting for the Force of Vigor blowout. And the time has come for it. Still think it was correct to play Scion here. Scion can fly over the top. He hasn't shown that he has a Boseiju. I felt like he would have dealt with the Chalice, but maybe he just didn't need to. How fast is tapping ever, huh? There you go. There's the Boseiju. Now he's got packed. I have 2 red sources already. Do I want another green-white? Probably. We won't play 2 life. So I guess Chalice. I guess we learned that Chalice is actually good because he's had to Boseiju it every time. And that meant he wasn't Besiejuing Scion. So that's like another plus. I know people talked about this. Okay, I think now he can burn me out with Valakut triggers. And I lose. I have to chump with Scion, maybe. I wish I had a Bolt. I sided them out. Painful. I'm like, oh yeah, Tribal Flames is better in this matchup. And then you're in a situation where, like, if I had a Bolt, I could, like, potentially block with Scion and Bolt the Titan. Maybe he doesn't attack. Probably not the case, though. Also, maybe that attack was, like, too suspicious, and I should have given... Well, I mean, he wasn't going to block anyway. Also, my opponent is somehow 10 minutes behind. I feel like I play really slow when I'm like really trying to think through my lines. I love it. You love to see the fake out white tap. I don't think he can kill me. I think he can Valakut me, but he's got, maybe that's what he's gonna do. If he gets 2 Valakuts, do I die? Could he kill my creatures? I don't know how many Valakut triggers he gets. I might be dead. At like 10 million. He already has 5 mountains in play. Yeah, I think I'm just dead to Valakut triggers. RIP. We had a good run. It's a Boseiju. To kill the Scion. I think you just want to get more Valakuts. Just am I miscounting here? Oh, so he can. Okay, so yeah, he's just gonna kill the thing there. Not do it to face, which is interesting technique. So he's giving me some outs. He's gonna bounce Boseiju to hand, and then has 2 mana to kill my Scion. So Scion's dead no matter what. I can force him to use the 2 mana and ramp me. I think I have to save the damage here. I mean, we're so dead. I need a binding, and even then I'm probably dead. Yeah, because I mean, every land he plays is now going to be a Valakut trigger. I'm already dead? Like, dude, stop playing lands. I'm already dead. I think the difference between 4... One of these days he like won't have Boseiju though. That's my theory. So we drew Flooded Strand, so this game's over. Okay. Yeah, so I was just talking to my opponent. Yeah, I was just talking to my opponent. Again, this is one where I'm not sure. That the game one, obviously, we had that misplay. So would that have changed the game? I don't know. He drew a second Amulet on like turn 3, so I think I would have still lost. This one was not close. Do you cut Ragavans or not? Like, this is, I don't know, last game Ragavan would have been terrible. This game it would have been good. I would have played it turn 1, and I would have been attacking, ramping every turn, and I probably would have won the game. So I don't know. Like, the upside is strong, I guess. But it's like, alternatively, if I play it and he goes Grazer, it's just a dead card. But I think the problem is, like, I have so many 2-drops that I don't know. I don't know if cutting, like, Tribal Flames was okay, but here we saw 2 Tribal Flames and neither of them were relevant at all, you know? So I'm not sure what I was exactly supposed to do. Besides that, obviously that punting game won. But that's why I'm not sure if I'm supposed to take out Ragavans. Like, this is my time trying it, and like we saw on the draw, Tribal Flames is like, well, I cast 2 Tribal Flames this game. My opponent's at 10 life. So, you know, that wasn't the win. If I had a Ragavan or Nacatl, I could have pushed through a little bit more damage, and probably would have been, you know, 9, 10 damage from one of those over the game, or at least force my opponent to do something, because I was applying pressure. And in this game, I wasn't applying any pressure. So that's where I've talked to some other people, and people talk about, like, oh, like, Ragavan isn't good, like, Tribal Flames is better in this matchup or something like that. But the problem is, like, if you don't have 1-drop threats, and I understand that we're bringing in, like, some of it is okay, because I'm bringing in, like, 3 1-mana answers to Amulet, and I'm almost always going to use those on turn 1, especially on the draw. So I could understand, like, cutting some Ragavan, you know, but I don't know. I'm just not certain about the sideboarding. Overall, how did the deck feel? It felt good. I mean, I thought we played pretty well until kind of we 3-0 into 3-2. So I thought I played well until there's matchups where I'm not as familiar with. I think I am more familiar with Amulet Titan, but I just feel like it's a matter of, do they have the nuts or not? Like, it's not really a high agency matchup in my opinion. It's not really the kind of Magic I enjoy playing, because it's basically like, does my opponent have their thing to go play solitaire and win the game, or not? Or do I have the, like, 2 answers cards? Like, I could have mulliganed lower, try to find, like, a 1-mana answer to Amulet on turn 1, and then I probably still lose that game if I don't have other threats in hand. So we just had a slightly clunky hand with all 2 drops, and we saw how we got, like, so punished on the draw there. So I don't know. I mean, I think bolts are probably bad in the matchup, but in that situation, I would have rather had a bolt than a Tribal Flames, because I could have killed the Titan. I probably still would have lost that game because I was trading, and he just burned me out Dryad still. So who knows? But yeah. Put in the comments what you think. Overall, the list, though, I thought it felt great. I mean, with the exception of my my accidental boarding of Chalice, and, like, my poor playing against, these matchups, I think the deck felt fine. I don't know about 22 versus 21 lands. I mean, we flooded out one game, but we drew, a land every turn, and, like, I added adding 1 fetch land or 2 fetch lands, like, might actually, removing a tap land does, for a fetch land, will, like, reduce flooding. You know what I mean? Because, like, you're cracking these fetches, they're going to the graveyard. So they're, like, less, every land you crack, there's less lands in your deck. So, but yeah. Overall, I thought it felt great. And in the sideboard, we saw Chalice of the Void did the thing. It did the thing against Titan. I mean, we lost those games, so you could say, oh, well, if that Chalice had been something else. But, like, I don't know. I forced my opponent to have literally Boseiju each game, and usually he Boseijus our Scion. So, like, I think that's fine. At some point, they're not going to have exactly the answers they need. Maybe they play 4 copies of Boseiju, or 3 or whatever, but it just had, my opponent had Boseijus both times to answer it. And And yeah, but we at least forced him to answer it, and it cost us 0 mana to do it. It cost us a card, but I don't think this matchup's not really about card advantage as much as it's about like have that key piece of interaction and then disrupt them and then apply pressure. So it's not about like, oh, I need every card in my hand. We saw it like cards died in my hand because I just couldn't cast them. So anyway, so we had a 3-2. It's kind of disappointing, honestly. I thought we were doing really well to end in a 3-2. You hate to start at 3-0 in a 3-2, but it happens. You get beat down by those linear combo decks that just owes you. So overall, I think it feels great. Again, you could argue for Hidetsugu over Engineer Explosives, but I don't think it would have saved me in that game because my opponent just had the stuff in game 3 against Scales. Maybe I could have played, was it game 1 that we lost or game 2 that we lost? I don't know. One of the games maybe I could have played better. I'm not sure. But anyway, hopefully you guys enjoy this content. So far, I'm liking this. I think this might be the change going forward with this new mana base. I didn't really miss Zaggoth Triumph. I had one example where I did, but then I was like, oh, wait, no, I'm just going to cast a 2-drop on this turn anyway. So Zaggoth Triumph's not really that useful. And again, it just kind of removed drawing that Triome when you're like, man, this is annoying to have a tap land here. I'd rather just be another fetch. So, and then sideboard, I don't know. We beat 2 graveyard decks without graveyard hate. Obviously, against I don't really want to play that Crabvine matchup again because I think we just had some good draws. My opponent had some poor draws. But other than that, since that's not really a meta deck, I'm fine playing Living End without Rest in Peace. And I think Bonecrusher was fine. I don't think it came up, but I think if in the Jund matchup, it would have been relevant. If I top decked it, I could have killed his creature plus played it. Like it would have been solid. So overall, I do really like this list. Again, you can subscribe to support me. And be on the lookout for the updated sideboard guide. You check it on my Twitter, stuff like that. See you guys next time. Thanks for watching.